Hello, Suzanne. This is Lily, and I'm here to give you your reading. You had asked me for a general reading, and I'm delivering it to you in video form, which, as I recall, you seemed fine with. So, as a general reading, I tend to lay out 4 to 5 cards. This one, I've laid 4 cards that tell me about your past, your present, your near future, and far future. And I've also added an additional card, and I call this the influencer card. This is a card that can step in at some point and change the situation. And this card appears to be changing your past into your present, or what's happening or has happened to you recently, and what will happen to you now or very soon from now. So, first, I want to tell you a little bit about the deck that I'm using. It's a little bit different than the other decks I think you've read on my Facebook. I'm now using the Transparent Tarot, and this is a little example of what it looks like. I don't know if you know or have seen many tarot decks, but this is the Tower card actually in the Transparent Tarot. You can tell that it's a very minimalistic symbolism, very minimalistic drawing. Um, it it's done this way for a reason. Not only do I view these cards on a one level dimensional, um, and I take each card in the placement of the spread, and I will describe that to you in just a minute. But I also take them on a multi-level or a 3-dimensional view, and that sometimes gives me a better look at the situation. Many times it can give me time frames that are associated with this. Many times it can add aspects or take away aspects that I thought were there or that I didn't see, that sort of thing. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and start your reading. Now, first of all, I want to mention to you that you're a Pisces, and as a Pisces, you're steeped in your emotions, and many times in your life, you approach life from an emotional level. Your heart is very important to you, and you wear your heart on your sleeve. In fact, I sense about you, you have a little bit of an empathic nature or some empath abilities. Your intuition is usually very good and right on and very strong, and you should listen to that more. You can be a little bit introverted, but that's because typically you're thinking about the world around you rather than responding to it. And a lot of times you think with your heart. Try to pull your head into that too, and sometimes you'll see a different way, or sometimes you jump to conclusions that aren't really there. So just bear that in mind when you're going through life. Pisces are beautifully affectionate people. You're popular with all kinds of people. People may come to you with their problems because they sense in you this empathic nature. Try to avoid the tendency with Pisces is when something gets really difficult for you, you might kind of crawl under the covers in the bed and try to hide away from it. Remember, you have to deal with the good and the bad in life. You're very friendly, good-natured, you're very kind, very compassionate, and you're very sensitive to the feelings of those around you, and I suspect that you're probably an empath or have some level of empathic ability. If you don't know what that means, I suggest you look it up. It's empath versus empathy, 2 completely different things. You can feel empathy for people. Anybody can feel empathy for someone. But as an empath, you go a step further, and sometimes you take on those emotions. You let them influence you, and sometimes that's negative. If you're dealing with a lot of people in your life and they have a lot of stress or a lot of uh, low emotions like depression, sadness, even fiery emotions like anger, you take that on, and sometimes that makes you feel really bad. So there are good ways you can research on the internet to protect yourself from that. A lot of times as empath, I'm an empath as well. Both of my daughters are empathic. We have to find tools to kind of shield ourselves. If you avoid crowds, it's because your empathic nature, you feel very overwhelmed with a lot of people. You can sometimes people think you're a loner, or again, you have that introspective personality. If that's the case, that's also your empathic nature coming through. Um, just it is what it is, and you just have to learn to live with it. I would suggest looking into crystals that might help you. There's one particular one that I use and my daughters use as well to protect us. It's called kyanite, and it's a very, very special stone. Carry it with you at all times, especially when you're going to be facing other people. It takes on the negative energies instead of letting them pass on to you. And the great thing about kyanite is it lets go of these negative energies, so you don't have to constantly clean or purify the crystal. So anyway, now that I've said that, let's get on with your reading. So, like I said, the first card that I've pulled for you is about your past, and it is this one here. This is the Five of Pentacles. And again, I don't know if you know that much about the Five of Pentacles, but this tells me about a point in time, probably within your recent past, or even all the way back to your childhood. I mean, this is just past in general. You were feeling very insecure. If you felt alone, maybe feeling left out in the cold, as though everyone and everything in the world was going somewhere and you were the only one that was suffering. Realize that's not the case. I think you've pulled yourself out of that, and with the cards that are coming up, I kind of see that, but you did feel kind of alone, and this, again, this could have been your childhood up until recent past. And that is a tendency for Pisces. So this card doesn't surprise me terribly when it comes to doing a reading for Pisces. I think at one time or another, all Pisces, or even all water signs, there's 3 water signs within the horoscope, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, they've all felt kind of left out in the cold, and kind of insecure with their lives. Security is very important to a water sign, especially Pisces, and it looks like you were struggling with that for a period of time. Possibly if you work outside the home, you could have been burdened at work or had a difficult situation at work. Have faith in yourself. Remember that the universe is constantly changing. What's difficult now will soon fade away, and you'll have good things happen to you. Things will get better. That's something that you have to keep in your heart. Things will get better, and have faith. With the Five of Pentacles, this is not a particularly happy indicator when it comes to love, unfortunately. Somebody may have treated you badly in the past, or maybe even currently that is still going on. Or you may have your eye on somebody that's just not reciprocal in their feelings for you, or you have in the past. This left kind of a hole in your heart, one that probably is still healing a little bit. Remember, there's only one person that can make you happy, and that's yourself. Don't rely on other people to make you happy or make your life. Remember that you are the master of your destiny, and irregardless of how a reading goes, you can change it at any point. But again, this tells me this is in the past, so I think you are slowly struggling out of that and getting to a point where you probably feel a little bit better, or if you don't now, you will very soon. So just, again, keep the faith. It's not as bad as it seems. It will get better with time. Okay, now the next card that I have is the present card, or it tells me about what might be happening in your life as of right now. This is the Knight of Cups. And again, the cups are a very emotional, relationship-based suit within the tarot. This cups is, like most other of the cup suits, a very optimistic, a very good time. This could literally mean somebody in your life, or somebody who's going to appear in your life, and they're going to bring you some sort of good news, or news that you want to hear. In general, things could be going quite well for you, or if they're not right now, they will very, very soon. You may be charged up, ready for action. Again, good news, and this is particularly relevant in matters of the heart, relationships, love. Likely good news is headed your way soon in that area. If you work outside the home, work projects are likely to move ahead in a positive way and sooner than you're expecting. When this card shows in a reading, and especially if you're concerned about how you are coming off or appearing to those at work, know that your accomplishments are recognized and that people do value you, and you do seem to bring some meaningful things to your job, although you may not feel that way. People do notice. It's just one of those things. I know the old saying about if you're doing really good at work, nobody will say anything to you. The first time you do something bad, that's when you hear it. So if nobody's saying anything to you, take that as a good sign. This is the most feminine of the nights. Although it doesn't mean any less of a night. It simply applies that this night is very in touch with emotions and intuitions. Again, I would kind of expect this card in relation to a Pisces or a water sign. You may be somebody who's in love with the arts, romance, you have a poetic view of life, you love to be in love. If you're not in love now, you might feel empty. If you're not in love now, there's an indication that there could be a new love in your life. But for now, learn to feel these emotions and don't let them weigh you down, but continue on with life. Be open to exploring your passions and your grand ideas at this time. You may find that recently you've been drawn to a particularly hobby or passion. This is the time to start taking that up. Whether it's a new hobby or it's a charity that you're interested in or some sort of thing like that, take proactive steps to get more involved with it. This is a really good time for you to do that. Okay, now the next card signifies your upcoming future or the very near future. And this is a card that can be very powerful. This is the Magician. Let me get it up here for you so you can see it. This is the Magician card. It's signified a little bit different in this deck than most other tarot cards. These are the Magician's dragons. And you can see that they're kind of entwining, kind of a yin-yang sort of thing. This is about making higher, better use of one's powers, spiritual, emotional, or otherwise. This is a very powerful and positive omen in a reading. This card reminds you you have the power to make a difference. If you're going through a difficult time right now, you're the one that can change that area of your life. If you're in the market for a new romance, this is the time when you're likely to find somebody new. If you're in a long-term relationship now, it's very likely to rise to deeper, more passionate levels of commitment and enjoyment. This is a really good time to get out and spend time around people. Don't be so homebody, so closed off to other people, even though I know that based on your empath, you may be a little bit nervous around groups of people. You can start out slow with smaller groups. People will take notice of you. You seem to be in headed into a very high energy cycle, and this is a good thing. You need to share that with people around you. One thing you might notice is people, again, I mentioned before that people with problems tend to seek you out for advice. You may notice that happening a little bit more within the next several months because of your, this is a very spiritual time for you. Spiritual events are taking place all around you. All you have to do is notice them. Seek out and this is going to sound strange, I don't know where you live, but when you need to be grounded or you need to let go of some of this excess energy that you take on from the world, seek out water. This can be as easy as taking a shower, or if you have a lake in the area, go dangle your feet in the lake, something. That water will help ground you because you're a water sign. And that's one of the tricks that we use. I've got a lake out here. Well, it's more like a great big pond, but it's out here behind my condo. And every now and then, just to steady myself and to get my bearings, I go out and just, stand by the lake, watch it, maybe dangle my feet in it, that kind of thing. And it really does work. The elements are very good for grounding. You may be inspired to apply a skill or initiative to accomplish a goal right now. You have a strong desire to begin something new. Again, this might go back to hobbies and interests and passions. You have a very can-do attitude and a strong sense of optimism, and this will tend to dominate any new beginnings that you have right now, whether it be career, hobbies, even on the love front. The Magician card sees you creating success at just about everything that you do. This is about manifesting your goals and utilizing all those resources that are available, whether they're within you or outside of you, other people, other organizations, that sort of thing. The Magician Tarot is a really good omen when you have a specific wish. So if you have something that you really want to happen, meditate on it, think about it, because this is a card that can indicate you can just about have anything that you want. You just need to facilitate it and make it happen. You're very creative. You make use of those creativities. If you don't feel fulfilled, make sure that you go out of your way to do that. So that is your near future, and I think that you're going to find some very spiritual things happening to you. Now, in your far future, there's a card. It is the Two of Swords. This is an interesting card. The sword suit is typically about thoughts, challenges, and observations. Let me pull this card up for you. This is the Two of Swords, and you can see the figure sitting there cross-legged, and if you look really close, and I don't know if you can tell, he's almost blindfolded. This card usually refers to partnerships or balances, relationships with other people as opposed to groups of people. So this is a one-on-one relationship. It could very well be that this relationship, whomever it might be, love, family, friendships, whatever, it needs to be better balanced. There's somebody's giving too much and somebody's taking too much. All it takes is a little tweaking, and I think the relationship will get back on track. If you know what this is or who this might be, make every effort to balance this relationship, and sometimes that means the communication needs to be raised a bit. If you're in a romantic relationship right now, if you're married or with a significant other, this can be an especially good omen for that relationship finally becoming balanced and working towards the good of the both of you and not just one person over the other. Sometimes I see this card when a young couple is beginning and maybe he's chosen to go to school and she's working to support them, and he's kind of taking a lot in the relationship. So kind of put it in that context, whether that's where you are or not with whatever relationship. That's kind of what I'm alluding to. One is kind of giving way more than the other. It's time to balance that out a little bit and make sure that each one of you within the relationship is getting what they need to be fulfilled and to serve their better interests. It's definitely a good omen. Communication really is about the only thing that's needed with this relationship. This also says there's one caveat with this card. If you're looking for love, if you're not in a relationship, take a good hard look within yourself to see if you've got any emotional needs or issues that need to be dealt with first. people can smell desperation a mile away, and that's not saying that you're acting desperate or anything, but if you feel that you are, or if you ever feel that you are, it's a major turnoff. Remember, you need to deal with yourself before you deal with another relationship. But if you are in that relationship right now, there's just a few things that need to be tweaked. You kind of surpassed that. I'll talk here a little bit about finances. Again, there's a need for balance within the financial life, and there's also an indication you need to be a little bit cautious. Make sure where you know where you are money-wise. Make sure you're sticking to a budget. Don't hide any of the issues. This isn't going to solve anything. If you need extra income, know what you have to do to make it happen. You might need to be a little bit creative in this area, but you're certainly up to that task. The easiest thing to do would probably be cut your expenses if you have an issue right now. And if you need help, ask for it. There seems to be a lot of people around you who have a lot of good advice. You can ask for that advice, take what you want, and kind of leave the rest. It's completely up to you. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, and before I do that, I'll show you how the spread looks before I merge the two. So let me do that real quick. The microphone's going to sound like it's being rubbed, but hang on just a second. Okay, this is your spread as it is. And remember I said that there's an influencer card? That's this one. And I talked a little bit about that when I was showing you what the cards look like. This influencer card comes between your present and your near future. And what this tells me is that you have a significant change coming along your way. It's going to be a very sudden change. That's for sure. Probably something completely unexpected. This card does not necessarily mean it's a bad thing, or it could be a difficult change that results in a very, very good and positive result. So when you see things happening, or if things start happening to you and you feel like, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster, try not to pass judgment just yet, because with this card, when there are things, big changes like that, they usually mean that out of change will come kind of a rebirth or a new beginning. And that is also emphasized with me here as I put the cards together to form my three-dimensional view on this. And let me show you that real quick. Again, pardon the microphone. This is your three-dimensional view. Now you can see here, this dark has taken kind of a smaller significance within the spread itself. This Knight of Cups here is almost as though he's kind of supporting or going to be helping this person along. And this, remember, this one was your past. This was your very insecure emotional self. This could be somebody very influential in your life now, will help to pick you up even more so. And here you see a very powerful image with the Magician and the Tower card together. This tells me that this big change has something to do probably with the balancing in your life and on a spiritual sense. Again, you may discover talents and abilities that you have that you never thought you had. If you just look a little bit deeper, do a little bit of meditation. And this figure over here almost looks as though that's what he's beginning to do. He's in that lotus position, that meditation position. He's still holding the swords up, kind of blocking the energy. But I think this whole image here will, because he takes such an insignificant role, I think that this is the major one that you need to look at, this Magician card with the Tower card running through it. That just tells me that you're in for some major changes coming soon. Even if these changes feel bad when they begin, don't lose hope, because what will happen and what will come out of those changes will be a much brighter picture and will be more in tune, more emotional, deeper loves, deeper relationships, more happiness within you. Finances, I think, will right themselves if you're having an issue with that. This also could speak to career. I mean, this is an all-around card. These are cards that can be applied to many different areas of your life. You just have to pick and decide which one is the one that this is going to apply to. So these are really, really interesting cards, and I think you've got a really, really strong reading here with them. There's one other thing that I want to show you here. Again, I've merged them into one card, and you can see again the lightning rod and the magician, the two dragons, they take precedence over this. I suggest that you're probably on a spiritual journey that is just going to get better and better and better. And through that, all facets of your personality, along with this good news or message, going to kind of merge and become one, and you're going to feel much more like yourself than you ever have before. One thing I want you to watch for during these periods of time, you can be a little over emotional, a little keyed up. Don't fall into arguments. Don't let yourself be baited into arguments. Try to keep your temper under control. Don't take everything people say to heart too much. Sometimes Pisces and water signs tend to do that. Again, sudden reversals can happen now. This isn't this. Please don't take this as a sign to panic. All it means is that the life is changing, the universe is changing. You're right in its sights. It's going to facilitate and make some really nice things happen for you. This isn't a time for risky investments or gambling. Please don't do that right now. Wait for the dust to settle once this major change occurs. Find out what you're dealing with exactly financially. It's probably not as, again, this change is not going to be as bad as you think. It's something that is necessary, has to happen in order for you to continue on the path that is meant for you. And it's a very, very bright, very good path. So keep all that in mind. It's a very nice reading, actually, when you take the whole thing and apply it to your life in a general sense. Explore that spirituality within you and look for the messages to come, possibly from a male or again, it could be a female too. The knight is typically the most feminine of all the knights, so it could be either or, but she's definitely there to help you. This could be a good friend, this could be a relative. I would say this is a person who is at least the same age as you are. If there's an age difference, it's going to be by just a few years, one way or the other. This change that I'm seeing is bound to happen here very quickly. It appears between your present card and your very near future. So I'm putting it within the next 6 months. Now that you know about it, you can at least, kind of steel yourself for it. Again, it's going to maybe start out not so great, or you're going to think, oh my God, this is horrible. But remember, what lies on the other side is going to be really, really good, and you're going to look back and think, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that really happened. It really made a difference, and it seemed awful, but it really turned out for the best. So hang in there, Suzanne. Things are going to get really good for you. And I have some really good feelings that you're going to be a very happy person. So take care, and please keep me informed. Let me know what happens, and if you have any questions or if there's anything else that I can do for you, please don't hesitate to let me know. And I'll see you on Facebook. Take care. Blessings.